Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface with Emergency Az number 3. Now the Emergency Az videos are more reactionary videos where I start to talk about something either breaking news-wise or things that have recently happened. So they kind of very much different from my Az chats, which I think about, compose, then go mental on. But I wanted to do something completely different today. Really kind of away from everything which has been going on in the world of Warcraft. Because let's face it, it's in a really bad spot. I've been sincerely one of these people that are trying to make some change by highlighting the issues, but it is a depressing thing to do because there is so much wrong with it. And people say to me, "As we really want to hear that love and excitement and joy back in your voice again," because with what's been going on, and obviously with you having to highlight these issues, we do feel as if sometimes, you know, we kind of hear in that voice that there is a broken person there is a sad person there which you know really wants to feel the love for an industry which he adores and isn't getting it. And I fully understand that, and I love you so much indeed for kind of like saying those things to me. And trust me, I know it myself. I know it myself because if any of you have ever heard me do, you know, upbeat videos when I talk about Witcher 3, when I did my patch 5.2 review in an expansion that I didn't even like, which I thought was so good, all the kind of upbeat and all the excitement that I kind of generate from it, it puts you in a good spot. And yesterday we had some big news coming from E3. So I want to talk to you about some of that little pieces of news and some games which are really, really fingering my butthole with excitement. Some stuff which, warning, might be some really horrific analogies in this video. You know, stuff which has really piqued my interest. Because I've got to be honest with you as well, E3 over the last few years, let's face it, been a wee bit stale, hasn't it? We've got to admit that. It's kind of like the same old stuff every year, isn't it? Oh, look, there's another COD. Oh, look, there's another Assassin's Creed. Nothing really kind of creative coming out of it. And everything which does look cool, does look creative, delayed. So it has been a rather flat affair. And I'd sort of, because I'm developing just levels and levels of, and skin upon skin of cynicism, I didn't know whether to just completely give this year's E3 a wide berth. But no, I love gaming and I got suckered in. So glad I got suckered in. There were two amazing presentations yesterday. One from Microsoft and one from Sony with their PlayStation 4 material. And they were both very good. As I said, they're both very amazing. And it's just, it's really bizarre to think that, in my eyes, one of them knocked out the other. Did a haymaker and just knocked the other one out. And I think last night, and I'm not a Sony versus PlayStation, you know, Sony versus Xbox person. It's really kind of weird. I loved my PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. Adored them to the ground. When the Xbox came out, I really liked that. When the 360 came out, I adored that. When the PS3 came out, wasn't particularly bothered about that. When the PS4 came out, freaking loved that. When the Xbox One came out, not really a massive fan of that. So to me, it all depends on which company's like producing the best for me. So it's got nothing to do with whether or not you're a Microsoft or whether or not you're Sony. If you're EA and Activision, you can go fuck yourself. But you know, if you're one of these guys, I'm not one of these people who go, I'm a Microsoft guy, I'm a Sony guy. But just looking at it impartially last night, I've got to say, Sony swung and knocked Microsoft the fuck out in the two presentations, because Microsoft did a really good one. It was a really good presentation and they brought to the table some very sort of exciting games and exciting products. They had a more rounded one, I would say, than PlayStation, in as much as saying, look, here's some old IP, here's some new IP, and by the way, here's some new gadgets like the new pad, the Elite pad or the Epic pad, whatever they're going to call it, with the flappy panel gearbox material on the back of it and all this tweaky and turny and lots of buttons that you can pretend are nipples that you're playing with, guys. It's really kind of cool stuff. Interchangeable joysticks. So that looked really, really cool. The huge news of the backward compatibility announced for the Xbox One as well. Not just digitally, so you can digitally download 360 games on it, but it will physically work with 360 discs as well. And to me, that was a colossal piece of news. Being a massive 360 fan, having a pretty big library of 360 games, this was wonderful news for me. And then we got some really cool little games, which I'm going to get to later. The reason why I'm not specifying games at the minute is going to give you a rundown of my favourite 5, which turns into a favourite 10, which turns into a favourite 15. And so, to kind of like follow that, you needed something big. You really genuinely needed something big. So when Sony conference happened, I was thinking, we've had a great one from Microsoft. Can Sony deliver something of the same caliber, on par with what we've just seen today? I could not believe. And I'd be amazed if I managed to make it through this video without crying. Because, again, I'm not going to specify games yet because I'm going to go into it shortly. But what Sony announced for the PlayStation had me, and especially if you follow me on Twitter, I was going chicken oriental last night. I was going completely bonkers about what they were announcing for the PlayStation. It was incredible. It was like I was getting an infinite hand job and I couldn't stop coming. It was just insane. Absolutely insane. I warned you about horrific analogies. If you're still here, it's your own fault. So with that sort of out the way, and this is just like, isn't everything that's going to be announced at E3, you know, this is just a portion of the games which we're going to get and some of the news that we're going to get, but these are just like two brilliant titans going head to head, and you can have your own opinion who knocked out who, or whether or not you thought it was a stalemate, but like I said, I think Sony, they delivered the knockout punch on Microsoft this year, and oh boy indeed. So, I was going to do a top 5, which is going to be a favourite 5. So I wrote down 5, and then it was 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. So I thought, alright, we'll do a top 10. And then it became 11 and 12 and 13. So I'm just going to reel off, kind of very quickly, not going to go too much into it, the top 15 games which really kind of get my blood flowing, really kind of pique my interest and really get my excitement levels back up for gaming again. So we're going to start off with a few titles that we've heard, and then there are going to be other titles, and these aren't really in any particular order until I kind of get to the top 3. And when I get to the top 3, then that is sort of like my top 3 anticipated, whereas the others are interchangeable at where they could really go in an order here. So we're going to start off with Halo 5. I mean, yes, we all knew it was coming. It's going to come this year, but we got to see some actual footage of Locke with his fire team, which had Nathan Fillion's ODST back with it, cracking some great little jokes, which made Halo feel a little bit more personable. One thing I do have a problem with the Halo franchise is Master Chief isn't particularly charismatic, is he now? He's a very stoic kind of a chappy, and there isn't really that sort of, not necessarily comic relief, but people to bounce off. Katana sort of filled that role, and without going too much spoilery, we all know what happened at the end of Halo 4. Am I right? So to see a sort of wisecracking fire team going alongside this new Spartan Locke, and Locke looks cool. And there's a very intriguing sort of storyline, which we don't quite know what's going on. All we know is Locke and this fire team are hunting down Master Chief, or Master Chef. Depends how you spell it, really, but I'm telling you one is going to involve lots of laser guns, the other is just going to involve Gordon Ramsay shouting the fuck at you, alright? So, you know, let's just kind of like put those to aside. So, Halo 5, good little footage play, great, the new map which they announced, and the new sort of play style for PvP, 12 on 12 on 12 Halo. I mean, that's going to appeal to a great little demographic. It's going to appeal to me. I might be able to hide a little bit more, kind of a wee bit exposed in the current Halo, because I'm not a great Halo player, but I really like to play more Halo PvP. So I do feel every time a Halo game's released, I kind of miss out a bit, because why join? I'm going to get ass buggered. And don't like getting ass bagging on a Tuesday. Right, so I think I spoke way too much about Halo. Let's move on to another one. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, there was a little bit of conflict here. I absolutely adored the reboot of Tomb Raider a couple of years back now, and very excited to see how the franchise was going to go moving forward. The visuals that they showed off for it were stunning, absolutely stunning. My only sort of, not complaint by anything, because I'm still excited for the title, and I definitely want to play the title, and I think I will be purchasing it on launch. But the only thing which was slightly, was the fact we didn't actually see anything new. We didn't see Lara do anything new. All the moves that she did in the trailer were moves that she has been doing in the original, in the game that she did a couple of years back, in the reboot. So I was kind of hoping we might see, you know, this is Lara now doing as opposed to, you know, stuff which you've already seen. That said, the sequence which they showed her it, which definitely appeared at the beginning of the game, you could clearly tell that, was a very exciting, adrenaline pumping, you know, action buttony whacking start to the game, which gets everything, you know, gets everything going, all the juices flowing, and it does look like it's going to be a ridiculously fun game. Great puzzles to solve. Lara looking amazing. Camilla just, oh god, she's so gorgeous, it's unreal. And I definitely thought that the Lara model looked more like Camilla Luddington than in the previous game. It was as if they've, right, you know, Camilla Luddington, she is our Lara Croft. Let's make Lara look pretty much identical to her. And there is no problem with that, because... Call me, please? Okay, right, moving on. One thing which I haven't heard a lot of, but I was very intrigued with, because I do like a murder mystery. Raymond Chandler is one of my favourite novelists, so I do love crime novels and all that kind of stuff. Philip Marlowe, great private eye, was this game called The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, where you're kind of a paranormal detective, and you go in this gorgeous sort of Alan Wake environment and kind of just solve mystery. You're finding out what's happening to this young boy called Ethan Carter, and you find out bodies, murders, tricks, all this kind of stuff, which you can go on the route. So it did pique my interest, and yeah, I'd like to see more of that before I commit any financial money to purchasing it, but it was definitely tweaking things in the right places. And then Tom Clancy's The Division. I'm just going to skim over it. The only reason why I'm going to skim over the Tom Clancy's Division is it is one of my most anticipated games, full stop. The only thing is, we've seen it now at a couple of E3s, so I don't want to go too much into it. They've been putting it back, and I've got no issue with this, because I think The Division has the potential to be unfucking leavable as a title. It really does. And so if they want to delay it to get it right, don't care. Do it. You take all the time you need. If it comes out January 2017, it's a hell of a long wait. But if it comes out being freaking amazing, wouldn't have an issue. Get a tissue. That game could be an absolute game changer. But we've seen it at a couple of E3s. So let's move on. Then we had Horizon Zero Dawn. This was a bit... wow. Now, there was a little couple of things which I didn't got me on this, but the whole premise of it was amazing. Society has crumbled. It looks like millennia has gone by, or at least hundreds of years have gone by since the fall of this society. And we have this almost prehistoric sort of society re-emerging, maybe a little bit beyond prehistoric, but very kind of cave man, woman orientated, you know, kind of like almost Native American, shall we say. So more, you know, way more advanced than prehistoric, but sort of like Native American society. And we have this redhead, this lovely little redhead woman going around trying to tackle these animals, which are actually robots. So all the kind of like wildlife were robots. It was really, really weird. And all that was very exciting. She kept cracking these making these wisecracks which didn't endear me to her. They really didn't. It was just a bit like, whoa, you know, this doesn't seem to fit in with your upbringing or society. It just kind of like feels as if you've suddenly planted a typical American woman in the middle of a Native American society from 200 years ago. She's like, yeah, no, not really. You know, so I didn't quite get that bit. But the actual premise of these mechanical dinosaurs and mechanical creatures which you were hunting, that were sort of responding as if they were alive. It was really weird, and I would like to know more about this. I would like to know if we are going to find out about the collapse of society and how these creatures were created, because that could be a really, really interesting little title. Then we had Ghost Recon Wildlands. Oh my shit buckets. This was sort of like Ghost Recon and Fallout bonking and having a baby together. It looked wow, and I believe it's an open world game as well. Now, I haven't been a massive fan of the Ghost Recon franchise. It's one of the Tom Clancy's one which I've kind of given a wide berth to. Tried it, didn't like it. I'm moving on. But this has really got me interested. Again, maybe because it's kind of not like The Division, but because it's this third-person, open-worldy, roaming, but with your gunnies and poo-pews, and yeah, it looks sexy. I want more information about that. Gimme, 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 gimme. Then we had No Man's Sky. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. This really sort of piqued me. This was an unbelievable, huge universe where you literally pick a star system, you can warp in, and all manner of shit could be going on. There could be space battles, there could be conflicts, there could be blockades going on planets, and you could choose whether or not you wanted to get involved, or you could choose whether or not you landed at a planet and started to gather some resources or whatever it was. But I need more information on No Man's Sky. I want to see more about No Man's Sky. The scope of it is insane. And I'm not talking insane as hyperbole. I am talking insane because it is literally a fucking universe of discovery. The size of it was beyond compare that we've ever seen in any game at all. And each one of these galaxies was populated with planets, with whatever. The scope of exploration here is just beyond anything I have ever envisioned, seen, heard of, thought of in a game before in my life. Moving on, let's talk pirates. Sea of Thieves from Rare looks freaking amazing. This is an Xbox One exclusive, FYI. No Man's Sky looks like a PS4 exclusive, FYI. And Sea of Thieves is this just looks like a really kind of funky Fable-esque game where you get a crew, and these are a crew of real people. These aren't NPCs. These look like genuine people that you team up with, and you go exploring on the high seas, have battles with other people on their ships, land on islands, discover treasures, have freaking pirates and skeletons and ghosts and everything after you. It looks like that could be more fun than a box of frogs with a wrap of whiz or speed, if you know you're kind of not in the know. A bit of speed chucked in for good measure. Really want to get my hands on that game. That seems to just be oodles of fun, and will probably answer the age-old question, which is better, pirates or ninjas? Looks like pirates are kicking dick in this one. So, we go to another major title, Mass Effect Andromeda. We only got a really small peek at this, but it looks like N7 is back for the Mass Effect franchise with a brand new universe to explore. Look like some really cool little planets that they skimmed across. Look, Mass Effect games are the shits. That's just a fact. I'll argue it till I'm blue in the face with anyone who wants to take me up on it, and I will fucking pwn you. This, I doubt, is going to be any different. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to get more information on that, but I don't expect to see it anytime soon. They reckon Christmas of next year. I'm gonna definitely push a knockback on that to maybe 2017, I reckon, because they always want to get that kind of game right. Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Oh my god, how many times have we wanted to see a Mirror's Edge sequel, and it's kind of almost turning into one of these sequels that we'll never ever get to see, but it's coming, and it's coming soon, and it looks pretty darn cool. And all I've got to say is about this is parkour. So let's jump on to the next one. We've got Fallout 4. Holy muck shit buckets. I've got to say, and don't rag on me for this, for fuck's sake, when I saw the initial trailer for Fallout 4, I was like, nah. you know, it didn't make me go, you know, any more than that. I thought it looked good. I didn't think it looked amazing. It didn't have me drooling at the mouth, and it didn't have parts of my body stiffening with joy. I just thought, okay, it looks all right. But we only saw a wee bit of a snippet. We got to see a lot more this time round, and oh my god, it looked incredible. The world looked absolutely amazing. Your character does look great, has a very nice niche look to it without being uber realistic. Got a good little bit of realism on it. Saw some great fight scenes. Saw the power suit or the power armor, whatever it's called, in action. That was amazing. Yeah, can't wait. It's coming out in November of this year. Oh, you can get the collector's edition, which gives you a Pip-Boy. Pip-Boy. Totally getting a collector's edition. I want a Pip-Boy on my arm, and I'm just going to go into town with it, and I don't give a shit who takes the piss out of me. Which takes us to Star Wars Battlefront. Oh my god! We got to see some gameplay footage. I'm really nervous about this because DICE be fucking shit up recently with Hardline's not great. Battlefield 4 wasn't great. I mean, it took them ages to fix. Battlefield 3 was the same. Took them goddamn ages to fix. So I'm really worried about this game in DICE's hand. But when they had something working, it looked great. Whether or not the actual product will work on release, I seriously could not tell you. The only problem is, curse my soul, it's not going to stop me from buying it on launch date, because I need to shoot stormtroopers in a Battlefield-esque environment. Hashtag get over it. It's the end of that story. Recore was a very lovely, cool-looking title. Another niche little title which you know, breaks away from the norm. You're with this little girl. She seems to have a little doggy with her that's powered by this round core that seems to want to constantly self-destruct itself to save the little girl. But if your little companion destroys itself, you can pick up the core, whack it into another piece of machinery, and it's reborn in this other object. It could be bigger, stronger, slower, more nimble, it depends. There seems to be multiple different ways that you can use this core to place into different bodies. Exciting little game. Probably going to be niche audience, going to appeal to a few, but you never know, could be a huge breakout game. Looked fun, and I definitely want to get my hands on more of that. How many more have we got to go? Not many. Let's go to Uncharted 4. This is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and pretty much everything from now on in is going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive because Sony knocked Microsoft the fuck out last night. I am telling you, for nothing. Uncharted 4, we got some gameplay. We got the opening segment, most likely, of the game, and oh my dear God, yes, it took them 2 takes to get it to work, but it was unbelievable. And I'm a heterosexual male. I know I don't act like it half the time, but I don't care. I'm comfortable being straight. The thing is, though, I am madly in love with Nathan Drake. The guy is just amazing. He is the contemporary Indiana Jones, and you've got to love him for it. Sorry, Harrison Ford. I do love the dick of you as well, but Nathan Drake is the boy for the 21st century, and he was proving it. People were slightly worried that this was going to be a much darker Uncharted game because of the initial trailer and then the front cover looking all miserable like. But oh no, Sully and Drake were wisecracking like absolute troopers. They had a freaking mini tank after them, driving down this shantytown city, whizzing through all these little back alleyways to try and avoid it. It was incredible. It looked like it handled amazingly. The graphics were insane. The acting is absolutely supreme with this franchise. I can't wait to get the collector's set with all the initial games because I'm going to play them all from start to finish before Uncharted 4 comes out to refresh myself on all the storyline in the game. It looked fan-freaking-tabulous. Is absolutely going to be a day one purchase for myself. Now, I think we're going to hit the top 3. I think that's 12 if I miss one out. Who gives a shit? Top 3. The Last Guardian! It is real! Oh my god, this game has been on and off more than Rachel and Ross from Friends. Or if you're older, then oh my god, if you're younger, I should say, than about 30 years of age and wondering what the fuckity fuck fun I'm going on about, you're just going to get a porn analogy. It's been on and off more than a whore's knickers as this game. It's on, it's off, it's back again, it's gone, it's here, it's not, it is. The game is going to be coming to us in 2016. We got to see some proper gameplay this time round. It looks stunning. It's by the creators of Ico, and it looked very much like Ico. I played Ico. I fell in love with Ico. Never experienced a game before like it in my life. It does look as if they are literally just interchanging partners here, but with more functionality because this Guardian is freaking huge and has a little bit more to do than just dragging a lady by her hand through stuff with one of those helmets from Nightmare, the TV show. Jesus Christ, if you're under 40, you probably won't get that reference. Oh, god damn it. Never mind. But yes, The Last Guardian is coming. It's coming next year. So much excitement, which leads me on to number 2. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Not any sort of HD bullshit. This is a remake. Now, a few years ago, Sony said, we are not going to make a Final Fantasy VII remake until we've made a game that's better than it. Well, look, you did make a game better than it. It was called Final Fantasy VIII. It is better than 7. But Final Fantasy VII has a much more iconic cast list and a much more knowledgeable, when I say knowledgeable cast list, I mean a cast list which everybody knows about. Everybody knows about these characters. You put them up on the screen and they go, it's Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII, that's Final Fantasy VII, even if they don't know the names of these people. So Final Fantasy VII VIII wouldn't have even happened if it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII. That game wouldn't have been better than Final Fantasy VII if it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII. So yes, this remake of Final Fantasy VII is just going to blow all of my minds. Well, it is going to blow all my minds until I get to number 1, and that's just going to make me go crazy. But it's a game which is deserved because it is so good and it was so pioneering and it took RPGs into a completely different direction, which ironically a lot of the Far East Japanese companies didn't build on. It was the Western companies that learned from Final Fantasy VII. It was Western companies that took the RPG genre and really turned it on its head and started to create these unbelievable games like Morrowind, and then we had our Fallouts, and they really sort of gave us these epic open world RPG immersive third-person come first-person games, and this all kind of stems back to Final Fantasy VII. This was a game changer in the industry, and it deserves to look like that. It deserves to have a modern day remake, and who knows, we might get Ares' true storyline in this, because it didn't end how it was going to end. They just ran out of time in Final Fantasy VII back in 1997 at release date, so her story didn't finish how they wanted it to. Will things like that get remedied? Which takes us, as we near the half-hour mark, to my number 1. And when this was announced, I've got to confess, I was in fucking tears. And they were tears of joy, and I don't care. I'm an old man, and I don't give a flying fuck what you think. Take the piss. This broke my heart in a good way, because I have been wanting to see this game. I never, ever thought I would get to see this game. It's Shenmue 3. We haven't seen Shenmue for 14 years. The original came out in 1999. Shenmue 2, I think, was 2001, 2002. And then after that, it just went dormant. Nothing. So we had the absolutely gorgeous Yu Suzuki come out on stage, and God bless his heart, in his best English, saying to us that the only way that we can get Shenmue 3 going is by going through a Kickstarter campaign. So he wants to start that, and he put it in our hands as fans and gamers on whether or not that we want to see a Shenmue 3. He was only asking for $2 million, and that in the scope of the gaming industry today is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Witcher 3 was made on a budget of $50 million, and that's a budget compared to games like Destiny, $500 million. What? Who the fuck ran off with 499 million out of that pocket? Because Destiny is wank. This is the game that I really want to see. It's not going to be one of these next-gen colossal huge ones. They're just going to do the best that they possibly can with the Unreal 4 engine and the budget which they're putting. And guess what? Within 9 hours of it releasing on a 31-day Kickstarter campaign, it hit the 2 million mark. That is how much people want to see this game. So there are other gates. If you get to 3.5 million, we'll get to see some more stuff. If it gets to 4 million, we'll get an expanded town and even more mini games to play in Shenmue 3, which is expected, but I wouldn't exactly say, you know, hands on it's going to land. December 2017. I would most likely see it somewhere in the middle, I reckon, of 2018. But I've purchased it. I mean, I've pledged, and my pledge gives me a digital copy of the game, and that is just how passionate he is, because a lot of the sort of rewards for pledging to this game gives you the game. So it's not as if he's trying to do it to profiteer, and this is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of Shenmue. This is a game of passion. This is a construction of passion and nothing more but passion. And he's saying, look, we just want to have the money to make the game. Then you can have it. It's not as if he's trying to make huge amounts of profit. And Sony, thank you so much indeed for giving him the stage and the platform to promote it by putting him in front of as many people as he could possibly get. Because Yu Suzuki is a man with a beautiful vision which I need to see realised, and I really do need to see the finale to Shenmue. It was an unreal game, way ahead of its time, so far ahead of its time that it actually spawned a whole genre of games stemming from it. And my God, I am so excited to see Shenmue 3. And that, you know, that's pretty much it, really. Nothing else really happened at E3. It's, you know, pretty boring. But yeah, it was so good. I mean, I am so renewed. I feel as if I have a new purpose, and it just really sort of invigorates and it revitalizes my love of the gaming industry with what I saw. And not everything's coming soon, but a lot of it is coming soon, and certainly enough of it is coming soon to keep me really interested, and certainly past the time until the other titles start to filter through. And thank you to Microsoft, and thank you to Sony and PlayStation with giving us 2 unbelievable, and I mean unbelievable, presentations, regardless of who knocked who the fuck out. It doesn't matter. They both brought it to the table, and as a gamer, as a lover of games, as a lover of the industry, you have given me hope. You have revitalized me. You have filled me up with spirit, and I thank you so much indeed for that. So there we go, folks. What were you most excited for at E3? What game is really piquing your interest? Please pop it down in the comments down below, and I hope you enjoyed the vid. I've got no idea, by the way, when I'm recording this, what footage you're going to be seeing on the screen. I might just go play Witcher 3 for half an hour and whack that up. But I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Those links are in the description down below, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.